to thank everybody here for hopping on to this webinar and giving me 45 minutes or an hour of your time this afternoon. I really do appreciate that. And this is, we do these webinars, or I do these webinars in conjunction with Nationwide. So a lot of the folks that are on this webinar at this point are Nationwide members, and truly do appreciate your time. Today we're going to be talking about a super hot topic, Facebook Live, which a lot of you have probably heard a lot about, versus Instagram Live, and this is called the Live Showdown. Just a little bit about me. I am a former television news anchor. If you've been on any of my webinars before, you probably are aware of that. So former television news anchor. I started in small market TV, and worked my way up big. I did end up working in Washington, D.C. I did a long stint, the second Bush administration and the end of the Clinton administration. So I was right there on Capitol Hill and saw a lot of things, which was very interesting. And for all the people that are working it now, probably a real interesting time to be on Capitol Hill now as well. I worked at King Broadcasting in Seattle, as I said. Great market, great TV, worked for some amazing people out there, won some awards, some individual journalism awards, and then also some awards for best newscast and such. But I did start small, worked my way up, and ultimately ended up making it big. I was a TV journalist for about 15 years, and then I decided to go out on my own. And I produced, syndicated, was the writer of a show called Treasure Hunt. If that has kind of has a ring to it for you. Later, as time went on, the BBC ended up doing a program called Bargain Hunt. And in fact, it's at one point HGTV contacted me and the agents that were working with me at the time to see if they could purchase the trademarking and the copywriting for Treasure Hunt show, so that they could broadcast it in the States. I didn't sell it. Maybe I should have at the time, but I didn't. And to this day, I still own the trademark and the rights to broadcast using the Treasure Hunt show television name in the United States. So who knows? We might go back and end up reshooting and reproducing. It was a much loved program. So did a lot of that. So let's bring us up to current. So we're here, Facebook versus Instagram, the Live Showdown. One of the things that I did want to make you aware of is that I will be at Nationwide Prime Time in New Orleans, March 19th through the 22nd, as you probably know. I'm going to be in booth 908. So as you come into the venue there, we're going to be right to the right of you. Prime Media is there, which is where Nationwide has their hub, right off to the right, and I am right next to them. So I've got prime seating. I'd love it if you would stop by and visit me at the booth. When I'm not in the booth and I'm not running around broadcasting and doing live shots myself, I'm going to be putting on a session called Facebook Live, how to use your Facebook Live video for your business. And that is going to be Monday, 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And that got booked up very quickly, so much so that we had to add another session Tuesday from 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And I know that there was seating still available in that one. We're going to have a lot of fun with this Facebook Live. I'm actually going to be broadcasting live while I'm doing the session, and then I'm going to be taking some people out of the audience, some business owners, and broadcasting live and showing them how to broadcast live right off their own Facebook pages. So it is, in the truest sense of the word, going to be an interactive kind of thing, and so would love to have you there. So you can go on to MemberNet, I think, and still sign up, or you can call Nationwide directly. If you stay with me till the end of the webinar, you'll receive 3 free pieces of original content for your own social media posting. Of course, at my company, Web for Retail, we work all day, every day in social media. We are always trying to make it easier for the small business owner and the vendor. And just to give you some examples, of really great content that you can post on any of your social media. It doesn't have to be when you're trying to do something live. We'll make that available to you. It's a 15-second video, which of course anything on social media and the internet really loves. 15-second video. There are those little sound bites. Also a nice infographic and a graphic quote. We'll make that available to you. All right, so let's get started about our topic, which is today, essentially social media versus Facebook. You probably have already seen, you get a notification, probably have the app on your phone, or if you're still looking at Facebook on your desktop, or if you have a laptop, you'll get the notifications that somebody is going live. And you probably have wondered what that's all about. You'll hop on, and some of it isn't very interesting. Some of it is interesting. You can tell sometimes it's just people who are practicing, nervously trying to figure out what they're doing, or maybe they're taking a live video of their dog or their baby or whatever. We'll be kind of going through that today as well. And then Instagram, what Instagram Live is, and essentially Instagram Live is the same thing, only it's on Instagram. Just a little information if you don't know already, Facebook owns Instagram. Before Facebook went public a couple of years ago, in the course of a weekend, Mark Zuckerberg decided to buy this little fledgling social media entity called Instagram, and he bought it for $1 billion, and he made that decision in one weekend. And I think when he did that, I don't think that he was even 30 years old at the time. So as it turned out, it was one of the smartest things he's done. He's done many, many smart things. Social media was used primarily back in the day for sharing what was on your mind, and then we graduated up to photos and videos. Then we graduated to instant messenger, that tool, a lot of us use that. And it still is going, but now social media has taken it to live videos. Some people use this feature to do Q&As with their followers, where others like to generally just talk about a specific topic. I do Facebook Lives. I also do Instagram Lives. I have something called Ask Denise Live, and people do Q&As, and they hop on, and we'll just talk about things about social media, business, entrepreneurship, that kind of thing. The way it works really is pretty simple. Once I show it to you, it's just you get in front of that camera, and whoever is watching will be able to see you, but you will not be able to see them, not while you're broadcasting. You can read their comments while you're going live, but that's pretty much it. So you're sort of doing this just kind of flying blind a little bit. You'll get the hang of it as time goes on, but it's just kind of a weird sensation. You can't see any of them, but of course they can all see you. There are different interfaces. Now again, we're talking about Facebook versus Instagram Live, and Instagram has a totally different vibe, a different characteristics, a different demographic than Facebook. And let me talk about that just for a moment. Back in the day when my daughter was 13, 14, or 15 years old, she was all over Facebook. Now she's all over Instagram. She's 22 years old now. Her complaint about Facebook is that all of us old folks drove her off Facebook and onto Instagram. And to a large extent, that's true. One of the reasons that our industry really likes Facebook is because of the demographic. It's generally speaking, it's women 25-54. I think the split is, I don't know, maybe it's 60% women, 40% men. With Instagram, the demographic is younger. It's not high school young, it's not 21 years old young, but it tends to be from about 22 to 35. So in our industry, that's a good demographic as well, because we want to be able to introduce our brand and groom, future clientele, customers. We want them to be familiar with us when they come of age, they buy their first home, so on and so forth. We want them to already know about us via social media and have a very good and warm feeling towards us and be very familiar and top of mind, because they will have seen us on Facebook and Instagram over a fairly long period of time. The interfaces literally on your phone are similar, but they're different. I'll show you right here on Facebook. Facebook pretty much cuts your live shot or your live broadcast in half. And this is where you'll see the comments. You can make comments down here, but your live shot is kind of cut in half. So if you're thinking that they're going to be able to see you from head to toe, they're not going to be able to see you head to toe. You'll get cut off about halfway. Instagram is different. There is no white background. It is opaque. The background is opaque, so it's essentially see-through. You can still make comments, but if you are standing and want to be shown head to toe, you can be shown head to toe. That's kind of difficult just using your phone. But the interfaces are different. I think we could go into the psychology of how that is, but Instagram, I think by its very nature, is a little bit more artsy. It's a little more relaxed. You can get away with a lot more on Instagram than you can on Facebook. So I think that's why they have those interfaces different, and also to distinguish between the two. So don't be surprised if you turn the camera on your phone to yourself and you've been doing Facebook Lives, you do it on Instagram and it looks a little bit different. Just the different interfaces, that's how they distinguish between the two. All right, so let's get into the basics of who can broadcast. On Instagram, you can broadcast from your personal or your business account, and then also on Facebook, you can broadcast on your personal or business accounts. Where you're going to find the live feeds. This is critical. If you're taking notes out there, and by the way, this is being recorded, so we'll have it uploaded to my website within 24 hours. But this is really one of the most critical points, is where, when you're doing these live feeds, where do you believe that they're showing up? So say for the sake of argument, you are on your phone and you're doing an Instagram live. The notification, if I'm following you, is going to come directly to my phone, to my interface in the Stories section on my Home tab, and you can also find it on Explore tabs. Over on Facebook, it will come up in your news feed and also your live map. So let me say this. If you have followers, and these are the people who are going to be, the followers are the people who are going to be getting the notifications that you're going live, when you go live, you have to give them a good 30 seconds to 60 seconds to, number one, get your notification that you're actually going live, and number two, hop on, lock onto your signal, and get a nice, strong view or signal with their phone of your live broadcast. So I always tell people, and I actually have scripts that I'm going to be showing at the session, the Facebook Live session in New Orleans. I have scripts that I'm going to make available to everyone. A big part of that is the first 30 seconds is really just the chatter that you do to give people time to hop on. Another tip that I will tell you is, if you're broadcasting for a while, and I use the term broadcasting because that's really what it is. It's not that a whole lot different than when I was broadcasting on television, when I was a news anchor. It is, in the truest sense of the word, it is a broadcast. So you want to, come up with some kind of a chatter to give folks time to hop on and to get acclimated to what you're saying, where you are, why you're doing this, and sort of what your message is. So the longer that you're doing your broadcast, because you can do these for an hour or an hour and a half, you also want to be sure that, don't assume that folks have been with you from the beginning until the end. They'll hop on, they'll leave, they might come back. So there might be, and I know this from my live broadcast days as a journalist, there might be some repetition to what you're saying, because people are coming in and out, and they might not have caught you in the beginning, or they might not catch you in the end. So don't be afraid to repeat yourself, especially, say, for the sake of argument, you're promoting a sale, maybe a President's Day sale. Don't be afraid to repeat yourself. Okay, the platforms that you can use, and this is kind of the mechanics of how to do this. On Instagram, you can broadcast from your iOS or that operating system that accompanies your iPhone, Android apps, and it is entirely mobile. Instagram, just by definition, is a mobile platform. It is a native mobile platform, is what they call it. You can access it if you want online, but you cannot broadcast online on your desktop. You have to do it off your phone, or if you have, if you're using live stream or something like that. But the point being is that you cannot do this from your desktop. With Facebook, you can. With Facebook, you can broadcast from your phone, or you can also broadcast from your website or from your desktop. So those are two sort of different animals there, and I just wanted to let you know that. Instagram is a native phone app, and Facebook, you can use the phone and also your desktop. The max broadcasting length for Instagram is an hour, and the broadcasting length for Facebook is an hour and a half. So let me talk a little bit about that. Chances are, unless you are an expert and you're an expert broadcaster, that you will find it difficult to talk for an entire hour or an hour and a half. I wouldn't suggest trying to do it or putting that kind of pressure on yourself. I think probably the first time out, you'll want to give yourself a good 10 or 15 minutes. It's a little bit difficult for people who don't do this a lot to even stand and talk for 5 minutes. So when you start your first broadcast, let's say for the sake of argument, your broadcast is, it's going to be late Memorial Day. Let's say it's Memorial Day and you have a sale. I would not have the broadcast include only myself. Do some preparation. Have something set up. If you're having a sale on a washer dryer set, which is going to be part of the demo that I do in New Orleans, have that set up. Know what you're going to say about that. When you move away from that, hard sell you're doing of the washer and dryer, then you can bring in maybe a salesperson. Then you can maybe bring in somebody who's just purchased something. Talk to happy customers. Do not make this all about just product. Don't do the live shot and point it at the, down the row of your sofas and just talk about product. People don't really relate to that. It's not especially social, because remember, we're in social media, and you want to be able to include faces and people and talking. That really is what sells things on social media. So while you might be shy and don't want to turn the camera on yourself and just point it at your product and do a walk up and down the aisles, that might work, but I would suggest that you mix things up a little bit and do some planning when you're doing your Facebook Live shots and also your Instagram Lives. And again, I come back to the demographic. So you can do a live shot on Facebook and then turn right around and say, okay, I really also do want to broadcast live on Instagram. And this is a critical point. Again, if you're taking notes, you can write this down. If you have, for the sake of argument, on Facebook, something that you think an older demographic would be interested in. I'm going to throw this out there. Say recliners for an older demographic. You might want to make the subject of your live broadcast something that appeals to that demographic. If you go over onto Instagram, think of what a 20 to a 35-year-old would want. All right, so you've got to change. The good thing is that you're reaching these demographics. You can reach both of these demographics on different platforms, but you want to get it sort of straight in your head what your demographic is. Close your mind's eye and say, okay, this is the demographic I'm reaching. If I want to demo some product, what do I think that demographic is going to want to see? So try to keep this as interesting as possible. Try to mix it up, a combination of pictures of product and then also people that have already purchased, and yourself as the owner or the manager, and then also salespeople. Keep it upbeat, keep it light, and don't sell too hard. Okay, the video lifetime, the lifetime of the video. Your video is going to disappear after your Instagram broadcast. it just vanishes. So if this is something that you feel like you want to use after the fact, you'll be disappointed because you won't be able to use it. It won't save to your phone or your, in this case, you can't even do it on your desktop, but it won't save to your phone. However, over on Facebook, you have the option to save it and then also post it to your timeline. So if you think that your live broadcasts are something that you want people to see, and several of our clients do this, they'll broadcast it live, they'll save it to their desktop, and then they'll run Facebook ads and promote it further off their Facebook page. And so then it gets even more action and more action and more action. So it's just a great way. Number one, it's interesting when it's live. You can chat with people directly. For example, they might say, you know, I'm thinking about coming in. Do you have a washer dryer combination? Anything for under, you know, $399, something like that. You can answer those questions directly like that. And then you can get more action off it when it is a recorded video and you've posted it to your Facebook page. And then you can also do boost ads or Facebook like ads, whatever it might be, to further promote that video. So the scheduling over on Instagram is real time only. You can't schedule it. You can't say, okay, I'm going to be doing a Facebook live shot on Memorial Day, and you can't promote that ahead of time. You can't schedule it. However, over on Facebook, you can schedule it. You can do it real time or up to a week in advance. And listen, I would suggest that you do it in a week in advance. It's an awesome option to be able to schedule that a week in advance and promote it ahead of time. If I can say this, and I think I always want to say this as clearly as possible. All of the live broadcasting that we're doing on social media is really a lot like when television came on in the 1950s and 60s. And if, you know, TV has sort of, if TV replaced radio, radio replaced print, and now social is replacing television, so to speak, you know, all of these things just kind of keep progressing and progressing and progressing. And, you know, probably a lot of people out there still buying print, although I don't know, most of my clients aren't buying print anymore. It's pretty much a thing of the past. Television is really the thing along with social media. So it's really critical that in your mind you think, wow, on television, they're always promoting what they're going to be doing in advance. That's a big thing in broadcast and all television. We all know this, is that people need to be told, okay, the broadcast is coming up on Memorial Day, it's starting at 9. How awesome would that be if you were able to schedule this, and we can show you how to do this, and a week in advance of your Memorial Day live shots, and you can do however many of these you want during the day, promotions keep coming up in your Facebook feed, reminding, just like a television program, reminding your followers that you're going to be doing this. You give them a heads up. So it gets to be, in a sense, almost they make an appointment with you in some respects. You can either do it real time and just do it on the fly, or it can also be what we used to call back in the day as appointment viewing. And if you give people a heads up, and if you make that promotion or that promotion ahead of time, if you make it interesting enough, believe you me, people will show up to hear what you have to say. So we're working on that. I talk about the Memorial Day because we're working on that with our clients already, and you know, coming up with great copy that's going to, you know, be the week before promotion for the Memorial Day. So we're all over this. I love the week in advance. It's pretty new for Facebook, but I think it's something that the marketplace has really been sort of clamoring for. So I'm glad that they've added that. So again, you can replay on Facebook, but you cannot do replays on Instagram. This is very critical. What we're talking about, the next point, is audience targeting. So yes, you can target your audience on Instagram. You have the option to exclude specific people. You also can target an option on Facebook is to share with friends and or the public. Okay, so let me explain this to you. If you own if you're an appliance dealer and say it's Green's Appliances, and you have a Facebook page, and you have 3,000 Facebook followers, when you start doing your broadcast, the notification will be sent out to your 3,000 followers. So the limit to this at this point is you can only notify the 3,000 that follow your Green's Appliances Facebook page. The caveat to this is this: Facebook is working on allowing you to buy ads or to buy reach and impressions against your live shot. So think of it like this. Say you're down in Jacksonville, Florida, and you're at Green's Appliances, and you have 3,000 followers. Sometime this spring, Facebook is going to allow you to say, okay, I don't only want to reach my 3,000 followers, I want you to open this up to my entire DMA, my entire trade area. And in Jacksonville, I think it's, I don't even know what it is now. Let's say it's, I don't know, I'm going to say 500,000. I'm going to say 500, 600,000, Jacksonville and surrounding. So then in a very real sense, when that happens, you are like a television station. You are beaming your reach to a certain trade area, to a certain DMA. So this has gone and graduated far beyond certainly being a social media. When we start broadcasting live and having the option to reach hundreds of thousands of people in certain DMAs, the bigger DMAs, then all of a sudden you are like the TV station of old. And that's why I say all the time that television and social media are quickly starting to blend with each other. There's really, very quickly, there's going to be very little way in which you will be able to distinguish. And while all of this technology feels new, and even for folks like me and my staff and other people that I know in the business, all feels brand new, in many respects, what's old is new. This just looks a little bit different, but for my money, it's very much and very similar to what television was in the 1950s. So just to be clear, you cannot buy reach at this point. Right now, all you can do is broadcast to your followers. What you can do is on Facebook, after your live shot is over and Facebook has compressed your video and posted it on your timeline, you can then go in and start to promote the recording. And what we're doing for Memorial Day is just that. I'm telling my guys to do about 10-minute broadcasts, and I've provided them with scripts and stuff. They're going to do the 10-minute broadcast. They're going to do it at the top of every hour, just like a TV station. But in that downtime, people are going to be able to see the recorded versions of the previous live shot. So this thing is just going to be going on all day, all day, all day, all day, all day. So it is. We haven't had the option or the ability to do anything like that up until now. But you know, as from my perspective, as an agency, we're always trying new things, reading into the technology and how we can apply it, so that our dealers can actually use these different technologies and social networks to actually sell more stuff. So think of your Facebook page as kind of a little TV station. It's pretty much what it is, and you're the broadcaster. So video descriptions on Instagram, yes, and it allows you to pin a comment to the top. You can also put video descriptions in Facebook as well, and it will display in your feed posts and also in your notifications. One of the lost arts in social media really is all about the copy that you write. So in these little descriptions, don't treat this as throwaway. This is your teaser copy. This is what people will see when they get your notifications. So you don't want to just go, yeah, broadcasting Memorial Day sale. You want to say, hey, Green's Appliance has some incredible Memorial Day doorbuster sales, and we're having a great time here, so on and so forth, okay? So be sure that in these descriptions, this is really the beginning of this. It's a detail. People hate to write the descriptions. I'm telling you, believe me when I say this, write these descriptions because it's the teaser to get people to watch your live shot. Audience targeting, yes, again, you can target your audience. We've talked a little bit about that. And certainly when this is posted up to your Facebook page, you'll be able to target your audience and buy ads against that. Okay, well, this is what everybody wants, is your audience comments. You want people to say, hi, I'm here, I'm watching you, and ask you questions about what you're doing. In the industry, it's called engagement. And really, that's what you want, is engagement. So you don't want to be, putting all your efforts into this and not get any engagement. So over on the Instagram side, yes, you can, there are audience comments. You can take audience comments, but you do have the option to disable those. Still the same over on the Facebook side, which is yes, but you do have an option to disable. Now, audience reactions. You have to get into the mode of social media and how social media works in terms of communication. Over on the Instagram side of things, there's only one sort of reaction. This is above and beyond what they can type in, which is, hi, I really love your store, or, where are you located, or any number of things that they might ask you. But they can also push the heart button to tell you that they like what you're saying and like what you are talking about. Heart button starts small and gets larger and floats up the screen, and you can see it. You can see it here. So it is, and again, remember, we're attempting to use these platforms to sell more product. But at the heart of what this is it really is a social media network. It is a digitized way of communicating with an audience, with people that you know, who like you, in a digital format. So I say this because I know there are some people out there, it's like, well, what do I care about a heart? Well, liken it to if somebody walks through your front door at your store and they tell you how much they love the store or they like what you're doing. Take this, these little, they're called emojis, and give them take them seriously. Give them the respect that they deserve, because it is a way in which people are communicating to you. So you're limited over on the Instagram side of things, but over on the Facebook side of things, you can do a variety of different things. You can haha, you can love, you can like, you can wow, you can be angry, you can be sad. Facebook rolled this out, I don't know, a while ago now, so they have a variety of different emojis. And one of the things that I like about this is that it does still keep it light and fun. And, at the heart of all of us, we really want to enjoy ourselves. So as much as you can make any of these live broadcasts that you're doing, or anything that you're doing on social media, as much as you can make this fun and interesting and put a smile on people's face, it will warm you up to them. And this is just a really great way, and a way that people communicate with you. So again, don't be too dismissive of this. If you start getting the hearts, then you're on to something. Okay, so one of the many things in all of this, but something that I talk a lot about with my own staff as it relates to our own social media efforts, is a lot about analytics. And I think people get a little overwhelmed when they start talking about analytics. But let me say this: you're going to put a lot of time and effort into doing your broadcasts. If you're not already, you should be putting a lot of time and effort into the content that you're creating for your social media. And if you are not looking at your analytics, you're really missing out on what the entire point of all of this is. There's analytics in Facebook, it's called Insights, same thing with Instagram. So Instagram is somewhat limited. It will display how many viewers have entered your live feed after you've concluded your broadcast. The knock on Instagram on all of this is that the analytics aren't quite as sophisticated as they are with Facebook. And as you can see, we've been talking now, I think, for maybe 35 minutes or so. There are some limits in the Instagram lives, and the analytics is just another one of those sort of limitations. Please do not let that be a deterrent. The real coup de grace with Instagram is the demographic, and you have to keep that in mind. With Facebook's analytics have gotten a lot better, and you can see those in your, if you go to your Facebook page, the navigation across the top will say page, I think it says messages, notification, and then insights. And if you have an interest in this, which I hope you do, you will have been kind of poking around in your insights anyway, and you'll be able to go down here, as we have pointed out right down here, and it says videos, and you'll be able to look at your extensive video metrics. So you want to be able to see how many people have, excuse me, have hopped on, who commented, how long they stayed on, where they were coming from when they hopped on. Did they hop off and then come back on? Facebook has gotten really good at making these analytics, or insights it's called, they call them, to making them really worthwhile. You can really start to understand who the people are that are interacting with your videos. So great information to have. You can start doing these live shots and see, you know, I do have people who come on, who are repeat, they show up repeatedly. You know, what is the depth of their interest? What is the depth of their engagement with what you're doing? I'll talk a little bit here about engagement, and you'll see this. And I speak from experience, and this is how we do it in my own agency. We don't really go for the breadth of numbers of people that hop on, view our content, engage with our content. I really, and I still answer almost all of the social media comments, or anybody who wants to say something, or hello, or DM, or whatever on social media, because I really want the depth. I want depth in how people are interacting with my content on social media. And this is what makes it so very different from traditional media. You know, when you have a fan or a follower, they can follow you and engage with you on a pretty intense level digitally, you know, consistently over a long period of time. And that's really what you want to find out. It isn't, hey, do I have 500,000 followers, although that's awesome. I would rather see you have 3,000, depending on the size of your market, 2,000, 4,000, and you have a lot of engagement, and you pay a lot of attention in terms of the people that are communicating with you. Really, what we're trading in here is people's attention. In a world where everything is so fractured, offline and online, we are all clamoring for each other's attention. So if you're getting somebody who's giving you the emoji heart, or who's giving you, you know, contacting you on Facebook or Instagram, truly you've done something right, because there's an awful lot of noise out there. There's an awful lot of people who are trying to get everybody's attention. And if you're doing any of that, if you're getting any kind of engagement, you know, communicate and get some depth with the people who are your followers. The deeper you are with people, the more chances, the chances are better that when they get ready to buy something, that they'll turn to you to do that. This gets interesting. I wish this wasn't so, but this is the truth. When you're looking at these analytics, these video metrics, please understand, they're going to tell you your views. They consider a view to be 3 seconds or more. Facebook, Facebook Live, and Instagram video. Now, the good thing about this is the videos run upon opening. So they default, they'll start to run, they autoplay. So, but you only get a 3 count. So that's all you get, and it's been considered a video view. So, you know, the whole, it's the same thing with television. You need to make sure when you're doing this that you're always cognizant that you're trying to grab your viewer's attention very quickly. There's a number that's been going around agencies, and it showed up in a pretty reliable report, that people give you 8 seconds. They'll view online, they'll view your videos for 8 seconds. At 8 seconds, they'll determine if they want to hang in there with you and watch the entire video or not. So when I say that we are trying to cut through the noise and get people's attention, I do really literally mean that. You really don't have a whole lot of time. And unlike television of old, before we had DVRs and all of that, remember when TV had a captive audience and you had to sit through that? You know, you could get up and go to the refrigerator, but if you wanted to continue watching your program, you had to sit through the TV commercials. Of course, DVRs changed all that, and certainly so is social media. So you have 3 seconds. So just know that those are counted as video views. Okay. So how long is your live? Your video on Instagram can be anywhere from a few seconds up to an hour. It's up to you. On Facebook, you can broadcast for longer periods of time to reach more people. The longer you broadcast, the more likely people are to discover and invite their friends on Facebook to watch the video. I recommend that you go live for at least 10 minutes, but you can stay live for 90 minutes. So remember what I said in the beginning there is you have to give people long enough time to be notified and to get in a position, you know, if they're really interested in you, to lock onto your video, lock onto that signal, and then also if they're super interested, to get in a place, you know, where they can watch it, where they can literally watch it. So you've got to give people time. And if you come to my session in New Orleans, I have this all scripted out and some things, just some clever little things that you can say to give people a little bit of time so that they can get locked on to your live shot. All right, how to go live, and we're kind of, I have about 15 minutes more. You can go to the camera in Instagram stories, either by swiping right from the main feed or pressing the camera button on the top left-hand corner of the screen. You can also tap the live button on the bottom of the screen and then tap Start Live Video to film your video. Once you have finished, you can tap End in the top right corner and again to confirm. That kind of sounds like a lot of reading I was doing there of the copy, but essentially when you open up your Instagram, it will show right up on the left hand. You can just press it and it will say you're going live. It's very simple. Facebook is very similar to that. The only caveat I have to Facebook is, tell this to people all the time. You have to be sure that you are an admin on your Facebook business page. And if you're not an admin on your Facebook business page, you're not going to be able to broadcast live. And again, I'll go back to Green's Appliances. If I'm the owner of Green's Appliances, and yet I have, you know, a couple of young kids as admins on my page, or, you know, one of the salespeople, but I myself am not an admin on my Facebook page, you yourself will not be able to do a live broadcast. And let me say this, I would not have anyone doing live broadcasts from my own store that did not have experience doing this. I would either do it myself or have someone who has a little bit of experience. And what I'm thinking of specifically is, you know, don't have, you know, your teenagers, your girlfriend's boyfriend from high school coming in and doing live shots. I really wouldn't do that. It's you want to have somebody who has a vested interest in this, who really knows what they're going to say, you know, and has a good feeling for what the store is all about and the story that you're trying to project when you're doing your Facebook broadcast. Okay, in just a minute, I'm going to open it up for some questions. In the meantime, we do have for nationwide, we have a couple of great programs that are super effective and by anybody's standards, very well priced. We have something called the Likes and Leads program. It's $299 a month, and essentially what this is we design and install contest apps on your Facebook page, and we collect emails for you doing that, and then you also get Facebook likes. So on average, over a 11-week contest, we're getting between 300 and 400 emails, and that is in your trade area. These are not, all over the country. They're in your trade area, and a little bit less than a couple hundred Facebook likes. So this is a great program. We have run this for 3 years now, I think. It is a favorite. If you want to know more, you can go to my website. It's DeniseKeniston.com/likes-and-leads. You'll see this again when we post the PDF form of this webinar, this presentation. So it is called the Likes and Leads program. It is, as they say, a fan favorite. We will be doing this free content that I had told you at the beginning of the broadcast or this webinar. We will send these directly to your email. It'll be a video, an infographic, and a quote. And we used to put them up in the handout section of the GoToWebinar interface, but people had a hard time downloading it. So we're going to send this to you directly within 24 hours. It will come directly from me. Just as a bonus on all of this, I've mentioned it a couple of times, within 24 hours you'll be able to download the free PDF version of this presentation at DeniseKeniston.com/webinars. People do this all day, every day. I'm amazed at how many people download the PDF versions of these webinars. They also download a lot of our infographic, and one of the things that I've done on my end is to provide a lot of free content that I believe helps business owners sort of get through this social media journey. Of course, from my perspective, it allows them to get familiar with me. It allows me to present my company, but still the same, a lot of time and energy and thought goes into all of this, and it's offered to you all for free. So within 24 hours, if you want to download this, print it out, go over it, make notes on it, visit me at the booth 908 in New Orleans and say, yeah, I kind of got this or I didn't get that, and I'll take this even a step further. If I'm at the booth and you come to me with your phone and you're still sort of hung up and you're like, I still am not able to do this live broadcast thing, I will personally show you how to do it. In fact, we can have some fun with it, and we'll do our own little live broadcast right there from my booth, or you can show up at either one of my sessions, Monday at 10:30 or Tuesday at 10:30. So Monday at 10:30, Tuesday at 10:30 as well. Bonus number 2 is you can pig out on my free infographics. On my blog, DeniseKeniston.com/blog, we have 30 free infographics. Again, you don't have to pay for these. You don't have to give anything for them. You can download them. It's things like how to get more Facebook organic likes, how to use 3 easy steps to Pinterest marketing. These are the sort of entry-level basics. We have a lot of people that have downloaded all of these infographics. They put them in ringed binders and they use them. My whole thought was that if you take these infographics and use them and learn from them, you would have the baseline, the really basics of managing your own social media marketing basically on your own. But you can download them all. You can come back and forth, get some, come back. You can pick and choose whatever you want. But they're there, they're free, and you can pig out on those free infographics. All right, and finally, before we go to the Q&A, if you have some questions, you can always contact me. You can email me at denise@web4retail.com. You can go to my website. Very easy to find, how to contact me on my website. The best way, actually, to get me is on social media. If you direct message me across all the social media, I am Denise Keniston. In some cases, I'm the Denise Keniston. So I have my apps on my phone. I'm always answering all day long. I keep my phone with me, and I'm always answering people who DM me. If you don't know what a DM is, that means I'm direct messaging. So it's really a good way because I'm not always answering my email. I tend to do that in the morning once and then later in the afternoon, but I'm always on social media. So I'm going to open this up now to some possibilities of folks asking me some questions. So if you have any questions, you can type those in now, and I'd be happy to answer them. While I'm waiting for that, one of the things that I did want to say is from our own experience here at my agency, we have found that Instagram is, really just been a stellar performer for us. I really like Instagram just in terms of quickly gathering a following. I like it because it's very visual. We have taken this a whole step further because, of course, photography and imagery is a really big part of all of this. So what we're doing in most markets is we're sending photographers in for day shoots about once every 6 weeks. The photographer will take all the shots, product shots, salespeople, owners, happy customers. Delivery is huge. People love to see things being delivered. Interior designers, any of those kind of really visually rich photography opportunities. And they go in, the photographer will go in, it would be somebody local. They'll take hundreds of photos for us. They upload them to a Dropbox for us, and then my social media managers and my designers, we end up turning this into great social media content. So I was talking to one of my clients just the other day, and he said, Denise, I can't afford a photographer. My God, that's $10,000. And I said, well, no, it's not. Maybe 15 years ago, it cost $10,000, and everything was perfectly lit and all of that sort of thing. No, not the case at all. I'm hiring in most markets, getting photographers for anywhere between $500 and $800 for hundreds of shots that we use on social media to come into the stores and do a really great job. So if you're thinking that when it comes to getting, you need photography for, all of your social media outside of your live broadcasting and such, I would really encourage you to follow what we've been doing. It's kind of experimental because people are like, oh my gosh, you're posting so much on social media. But once I show them how it works, they love it. So don't shy away from that. But you need photography and you need videography, and you need it on a regular basis. So don't be afraid to get these photographers in because it's going to be the heart of your whole digital and social media strategy. When it comes to broadcasting live, try to think of your Facebook page or your Instagram page, like I said, is almost like a little television station. And you're broadcasting out to a certain group of people that follow you at this point. Soon they're going to open that up so that you can buy reach and impressions to your entire DMA doing your own live shots. And when they do that, then you've really got something, because then you're going to be able to buy the same reach that you get with a television station. You can buy it off Facebook. You can do it in your own time. You can do it in your own way. You do not have to go through a television station to reach the eyeballs of the people in your demographic. You can do it right off your Facebook page. If it seems a little out there to you now, just give it about 6 months. It'll start to make a lot more sense in about 6 months. If you get it now, and a lot of times people do, they're like, wow, I never thought of it that way. Well, start thinking about it that way, because that's exactly what it is. We've all seen celebrities do great, Facebook shots, and of course they're talented and beautiful and handsome and funny and such. Most of us don't rise to that sort of, that level of talent, but still the same, everybody has some kind of talent to do this. And if it is your business, if you truly love your business, and if you truly have a passion for your business, you will run to these opportunities. Every opportunity on social media is just another chance for you to tell the world how awesome your business is. And don't shy away from this. You're going to do your first live shot, and because you haven't done it for a living or whatever, it might be a little bit awkward. If you come to my session in New Orleans, I'll provide a script for you. I'm giving those scripts out down in New Orleans. So you'll have a professionally written script that you can use the first 4 or 5 times out. After a while, you're going to go, yeah, I don't need Denise's scripts anymore. I've got this down cold. So you've got to sort of rethink. These social media, they move so quickly. And there's so much happening behind the scenes. It's almost like once we figure this one thing out, they're already light years ahead of us. What's happening right now is that it's just for you to get your head around that you're broadcasting. You're like a broadcaster. You're like a little TV station. And this is your chance to get good at this. The last thing you want is to have your competition, lock onto this, and you get sort of left behind. I'd hate to have that happen to anyone, that I talk to in a day, or anyone that hops on these webinars. So I guess that's it for me. A lot of times people don't want to, ask questions through the webinar interface. Sometimes they just want to be able to quietly be able to go to the website, and that's fine. It's DeniseKeniston.com/webinars. The recorded version of this will be up there. It'll also be on my YouTube channel, and the PDF version, which you can download and then quietly go over it and make notes in the whole 9 yards. If you have notes, come to my booth. I'd love to see you. It is booth 908 in New Orleans at nationwide prime time. I'm looking forward to it. I think we're going to have a great time. So I think at this point, folks, I've pretty much exhausted my hour. I really appreciate you hopping on. I'm sorry I was a little bit late. I don't think I was terribly late. I just sort of walked through the door at the last minute there, and people were getting it set up for me. So again, I really thank you for all of your time. I look forward to seeing you if I have the opportunity when we're in New Orleans, and I am booth number 908.